Composing for me is something that was quite natural. I was actually always encouraged to compose in school. I was really lucky actually. I went to a music school, and it was a music school within a normal state school, and everyone was offered composition lessons, and it was something I really jumped at the chance of because I'd always enjoyed improvising at the piano from a very young age, and written little pieces. So when I got the opportunity to actually have lessons, and with Sally Beamish no less, I was really excited. So yeah, and but it was very much something that was encouraged at home, but also in school as something that actually everyone should do. I was always really drawn to melody, and it's something, melody was always the first thing that came to me really. So I think the first real piece that I wrote was a song for baritone and piano, and the melody just came to me like in one sort of big line. And I think that was when I really realised that this was something that felt very special for me, and it was very rewarding in a way that I didn't quite feel the same way about playing instruments. Although I loved playing the oboe and playing the recorders and very much enjoyed the piano, there was a kind of deep satisfaction and also wanting to find out more, wanting to discover new things with composition. When I was 19, I was offered a commission writing a short sort of music theatre piece, which was a sort of joint, it was a collaboration with ENO Studio and Tate Opera. And so this was a huge opportunity for a 19-year-old, and it was something that was quite daunting but also very exciting. I thought, actually, you know, maybe I could do this. I was very lucky to be supported by groups at a very young age. People believed in me, and I think it planted that seed of self-belief, and that actually, you know, if you really want to do something, you can do it. I think it is important to have role models, and I remember as a younger composer going to hear Judith Weir talk about the Night at the Chinese Opera, and Sally Beamish, in fact, was my first composition teacher. So I mean, if that's not a good role model, then I don't know what is. I mean, for me, really, I didn't think about whether it was unusual to be doing this as a girl. And no one said that to me, actually. It was just, you know, everyone should be able to, you know, try this, have a go. And yeah, there was just that belief that if you wanted to do it, you could, and I'm so grateful for that. I would say the piece that really sort of launched my career or set a tone for my career, moved it in a certain direction, was my first real orchestral piece called Verga, which I wrote for the LSO as part of the UBS Soundscapes. It was called that at the time, it's called something else now. I wrote that piece in 2007. The piece then went on to have a lot of performances and high-profile performances with other orchestras, and so then I went on to write other orchestral pieces, a piece for the BBC Scottish Symphony, and shortly after that I was appointed as composer in association with the wonderful Hallé Orchestra. Through writing that first piece and through working with the Hallé, actually, orchestral music's become hugely important. I think for me, the orchestra, there's just so many possibilities, and there's so many things that haven't been done, and there's just, you know, millions of combinations. And the music that I'm writing, I'm interested to create layers in my music, and that's something that I can really do with an orchestra, using different groups, combining different orchestral families. The combinations are never ending, and so each time I write a new piece, I feel that, you know, there's something else that can be tried out, something that can be discovered, and I can't imagine that ever running out for me. It's like, yeah, it's a very exciting group to work with. People will always respond to good music, whether that be classical or popular or contemporary, and I think it's important to keep making that connection with new audiences, and And the music I write, I very much do want to connect with the audience. I'm not just writing music for myself. Although I don't write with one particular group of people or person in mind, but I very much want to connect emotionally with my audience. At the moment I'm writing a violin concerto for Malin Broman. She leads the Swedish Radio Symphony Orchestra, so she was leading the orchestra when they played Virgo with Daniel Harding conducting. So that's been a really nice relationship, and now I'm writing her this violin concerto. It's been more of a collaborative process than some of my other pieces. You know, I've been sending her material, sketches, been actually, you know, sending her sketches, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to use in the piece, and we've had this sort of back and forth conversation. Yeah, I think relationships like that are so important because they actually result in a very different piece. It's not necessarily a better piece, but it's a different process, and it's a very different sort of end result. So I really like to sort of keep those relationships going. I want to write music which is immediate and that is direct, but also rewards further listening. And that's the kind of music that I want to listen to, and all I can do is sort of write what I believe in and hope that other people will connect to that as well.